Let's bring in Bernie McTernan from Needham for more on the numbers. And Bernie, is that moment, that adjusted EBITDA profitability arrived earlier than you expected?
That's exactly it. This is the first time that they've been adjusted EBITDA positive since being a public company. The company was guiding to reaching that point next quarter, so came in earlier than expected. And this is really driven by strong revenue beats. So they beat consensus revenue by 10%. It was the upper end of their guide. It was up 26% sequentially. And importantly, it was a volume beat with more riders coming back for the platform. So, on the earnings call, we're certainly going to be looking forward to how, 3Q revenue and EBITDA guidance is. But then importantly, how supply and demand is trending on the platform. In the earnings release, they did mention record earnings for drivers in the second quarter. That continued into July. What that tells us, though, is that there's still a supply and demand imbalance. So you guys have written about the 7.5 million that could potentially come off federal unemployment about a month from now. So we'll be looking to maybe that could be a catalyst to drive more supply to the platform or more drivers to the platform.
What are you thinking at the moment, Bernie, for their positioning in terms of that pure focus still on ride hailing and in the US only? Would you like to see them branch out a little bit?
Well, I don't think we'll see the company do that necessarily. The company speaks about a $1 trillion market opportunity in personal transportation. They think that's going to move from ownership to service over time, and it'll benefit them. But we're bullish on Uber and we're bullish on DoorDash because of delivery. We think that the pandemic share gains from delivery are here to stay, and that's going to drive more value for those companies going forward. And certainly will be a focus on the Uber earnings call tomorrow night, especially after the big beat they had last quarter. They beat on bookings by about 10%, same with DoorDash.
Is the profitability sustainable, Bernie? This is the reopening quarter.
Yeah, no, look, the company said that they were going to hit EBITDA profitability in the 3Q and then just keep going forward from there. Like some of the other companies that we cover, like an Airbnb, they really used the pandemic as an opportunity to right-size their cost structure so that as demand returns, the incremental margins on this business should be really high. And so, yeah, I mean, we expect them to be EBITDA profitable next year, and it was good to see them get their quarter early.
Does gains like this, Bernie, for Lyft mean gains for Uber, or is it bad news for Uber?
What we've seen from third-party data is that that 70-30 split in the U.S. between Uber and Lyft that was there pre-pandemic is there, as we're exiting out of the pandemic as well. So it really just tells us that the market's just growing and there's more people joining the platform. I mean, don't forget, too, that surge pricing is helping to an extent, too. But no, I think this is, it's good for both players. So, I think this is supportive for Uber as well as they report tomorrow.
So what about the driver shortage, which you alluded to, Bernie? How severe is it, and what is that competition like between the two?
Yeah, I mean, what the results would tell us is that there's still, more riders are coming to the platform. They're still below that 1 billion mark in revenue. So it'll be interesting to see when they're able to get back to the quarterly revenue mark of $1 billion, which is where they were pre-pandemic. But, I think that one of the things that they want to highlight is the earnings that drivers can generate. So, again, talked about record earnings in the second quarter. On the last call, they were talking about drivers earning $30 to $40 per hour. So, those are obviously well above minimum wage. And so they're demand is coming back to the system a lot more quickly, and then supply is slower. So what they called out on the last call is that they want more people to be vaccinated. That will help supply. And then the unemployment, federal unemployment benefits coming off as well should ultimately help supply too. So those, we've already had the vaccines help a lot, and now we're waiting a month from now for that second leg of the supply to get the tailwinds.